oh my God, it's me. I live in the past, mate.
Are you having an existential crisis?
So.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm just sort of realising, I'm like, Arsenal have been a joke for 20 years.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate. Oh, mate, do you want to...
It's like only hitting me now. And I know people will be like, we've all been saying this to you for a long time. I've not been listening. We have been a joke for 20 years.
We got fans from the rest of the Premier League to take a survey about Liverpool and Arsenal. You've got to argue it out and decide which of your clubs was the top answer.
Oh, sorry, right, yeah.
We asked the rest of the league, which team do you respect the most?
Everyone respects Liverpool more than Arsenal for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think Slot's ability to have come in first time in the Premier League and lead a Premier League title race when I think, if we're honest, no one really expected that this season from Liverpool.
No one did.
And ultimately, I get bored by this argument. People respect Liverpool because you've won the Champions League. I think the medals around these players' necks means that they command respect more than Arsenal do.
I don't know, do you really... I don't really know if Arsenal fans care about respect.
I think Arsenal as a club and as a fan base do feel frustrated by a lack of... lack of respect from
acknowledgement,
fans.
maybe,
Acknowledgement, yeah, maybe an acknowledgement of the talent that's in this squad. Because I do think there are players in this squad who, in 5-10 years' time, we're going to look back on and go, Jesus Christ, and they were just at Arsenal.
I think sometimes Arsenal fans quite seriously put people's nose out of joint, whereas there is a bit more of a banter aspect to the Liverpool fans. There's like a playfulness to Liverpool, whereas sometimes it can feel like it gets quite heavy around the Arsenal fan base, and it can get a little bit... I've never really seen Liverpool fans like sort of really go in for someone or really, being quite sordid in the way they speak. Arsenal fans online can get very nasty, which I'm sure the comments are now reflecting because I just said that.
Yeah, we have a unique fan base.
Yeah. Do you think that it contributes to the respect aspect? Like, you have to give it in order to get it. And I don't know if Liverpool fans don't respect the monarchy, and maybe we don't, we're Scouse not English, but I shouldn't have done it in that accent.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never heard someone who sounds more English than Scouse.
But with that, I would say there's a lot of people who they get that. They at least understand why.
Well, and I think they at least understand why is the crucial difference between the two fan bases.
Are you somehow saying that the centre of the media world is misunderstanding Arsenal in some capacity?
No. If I'm being really honest, I think sometimes we kind of appropriate the culture of a kind of downtrodden football club when, in actual fact, we live in Islington and we live a nicer life than most other football fans in the country.
The council tax is most people's rent.
Right. When Liverpool fans sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," I think of the Hillsborough disaster and how important that is to a lot of people who've had a really tough time.
Sure.
When we sit there whining, "No, flying forever," I think people look at us and go, "Shut."
I also think that's become, like, obviously You'll Never Walk Alone is like quite
We have no reason to weep. Ultimately, we've gone a long way around the block of saying we are an annoying fan base.
But,
I think
mate, welcome.
I think people respect Liverpool. I think the things you've won. And I think there are members of that team that people really love at Liverpool. People love Virgil van Dijk. Until Arsenal win stuff, we're not going to be respected by the Premier League.
I reckon it's close to like 60-40.
We asked the rest of the league, which team do you respect the most? 59% of people said Liverpool.
We're doing well.
People say people that live in London are disconnected and live in a bubble. So far, we've read the rest of you.
Not when you're as online as we are.
Mate, yeah. Believe me, I've seen your abuse, guys.
We asked the rest of the league, which team thinks they are entitled to win more trophies?
Thank you. Move on. I wouldn't say we're greedy, but I just think it's like, it's just true, isn't it? We have an expectation now of trophies, I think. And maybe we didn't at the start of the season. But just the way Liverpool talk, the way we act, I don't know if entitled is the right word from our side, but I think people look at us and think they look entitled to winning tournaments. It's broadly because we probably put people's noses out of joint, I think. Whereas this way,
I feel like we've spent 3 years going, well, why didn't we win it? Do you know what I mean?
Do you know the problem? Do you know the problem with that?
Yeah.
It's these guys for years going, why didn't we win?
Yeah, no, I get it.
You've kind of come in and Liverpool have gone, don't take our act.
Well, yeah.
And then you've gone.
I think it has to be this year or next year. Otherwise, the whole Arteta thing.
I agree.
And I think really, like, to give him his dues, I think Arteta will walk away. He literally said this team deserves to win a trophy.
He's not wrong though. Like even from
he will be at the end of this season.
No, I get that. Arteta's stopped the rot that was at Arsenal.
What we could have been.
A toxic culture, which you could have become Spurs. My God, that's a horrible thought, isn't it?
We could have become Man United. If you look at what Man United are in, it's kind of.
I'm so sorry.
Well, we could.
Look what you dodged. You're like Neo in the Matrix out here. It's amazing.
But then that is
Spurs. No, United. Nope.
That is the reality, though. If you are a big club in a downward spiral and you are literally just gambling on new managers, is it Ten Hag? No. Is it Amorim? Maybe not.
Is it a dog?
Yeah, it could be the dog, right? And we lucked out. We got it right with Arteta, and I do think luck is the word.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know. It's a calculated risk, isn't it?
It's a calculated risk, but when the risk is an assistant manager from Manchester City who was a former captain of yours, who's always shown signs of potentially being a good manager.
But everyone was saying, like, you know, it's like going, will this Oxbridge graduate do well in the bank? You know? Oh, I don't know, boys.
They often do.
Yeah. Will this white upper class guy do well in the system? Liverpool fans probably were just grateful for even being involved in the conversation this season.
Really?
Actually, of course. Liverpool fans, no one went wrong for a title here, boys. Like, everyone went top 4, keep it solid, rotate a couple of the players in and out, see where the contracts go, and next season, let's see where slots football is at. And I think that was fair enough. And so, even getting to win the group stage of the Champions League, great, no one expected that. Being top of the Premier League whenever, great, no one expected that. Even just getting to a title race, I think this season was something we just didn't expect.
And that's not entitlement.
No, but I think you could still argue that there is this, again, similar to other questions, there's
legacy
entitlement that
Fine.
I think that goes.
We'll go Liverpool.
Percentages?
I think it'd be tight. Again. I'd say
54.
Yeah, go 54.
46.
54% would say Liverpool.
Okay. We asked the rest of the league, which team thinks they are entitled to win more trophies? 57% said Liverpool.
There you go.
Whoa, we're good. We're not bad. We're not bad.
Mate, you, Gov, owe us money.
Yeah.
We asked the rest of the league, which team lives in the past the most?
Ooh, a decade ago, bam. A decade ahead, bam.
We don't have
Thierry Henry. Yes. Yes, we do.
I was about to
He's
say,
on every bloody TV show telling us we shouldn't forget him.
we don't have much past to live in, to be honest with you.
Oh, very recent past.
There was 5 years between 1999 and 2004 that I'd quite like to live in.
Those were amazing years, though. I think those were
yeah.
years that I think the Premier League, to an extent, owes a lot to Arsenal for making the Premier League the perception that it is now. Because it, arguably more than teams like Manchester United and Liverpool, it grew the brand of like Thierry Henry, and there were a bunch of players in there that maybe you wouldn't have expected to see in the Premier League even a decade before that.
Living in the past.
I think it's gone more there, but I don't know if that's fair. I'm trying to work out what other people would say rather than what I think. I think we're chronically in the past.
This is a really hard one, I think, because I think for years it was Liverpool living in the past.
100%.
Because for years, under Rafa, like Liverpool were a mid-table team who you were pointing to the 90s of when you won stuff. Even earlier than that, in the 80s.
No one was pointing to the 90s when we won stuff. No one's ever gone the 90s.
Well, no, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago. Yeah, I guess now it's one of those things of like you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, it's me. I live in the past, mate.
Are you having an existential crisis?
So.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm just sort of realising, I'm like, I mean, Arsenal, people will be screaming this in the comment section, but yeah, Arsenal have been a joke for 20 years.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate. Oh, mate, do you want to...
It's like only hitting me now, and I know people will be like, we've all been saying this to you for a long time. I've not been listening. We have been a joke for 20 years.
You're living in the past now, mate.
Yeah.
Live in the present. You're not a joke anymore, all right?
The present's not
Talk
that good.
yourselves up. Say something.
We're not that good.
Say something do you like about Arsenal. Come
What do I like? I don't know.
about Arsenal
We've got
now.
nice young players.
Yeah.
There's a dog called Win. Like,
Yeah. I think the dog thing's great, by the way. I don't get why people having to go about the dog.
The dog thing's weird. The dog thing's weird.
Yeah, you live in the past.
Yeah, we are living in the. I guess.
Dogs are so 20th century, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like that's living in the past.
Dogs are very Facebook.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like Facebook loves dogs, and we've become that.
If there's one thing that SPORTbible do well, it's visual representations of the way the public feel.
I would say, if I was to give numbers, I'd say 65% of opposition fans feel that Arsenal are living in the past, and only 35% would say Liverpool.
For someone who's having an existential crisis, that was very accurate.
We asked the rest of the league which team lives in the past the most.
Oh.
54%
It's tight.
said Liverpool.
There you go.
Really?
See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
We asked the rest of the league which team are the bigger conspiracy theorists.
Next.
Tell me more.
I mean, even you know this in your own fan base. Every Arsenal YouTube video starts, guys, I don't want to talk about conspiracy theories. And I see a lot of people online talking about conspiracy theories. And it's that simple.
Yeah. Let me start by saying I do think there is a conspiracy theory. I kind of do.
It's 100% this way. What do you think the theory is? What?
I'll give you my theory.
You're not helping the perception.
I think the fork in the road was
Look
the
me in the
incident.
eyes, you do it.
I think the fork in the road was the incident with Joe Linton at Newcastle, St James's Park.
You've nailed it.
And I think Arteta came out and called out the Premier League and the PGMOL in a way that a manager in that position hasn't really done.
Sure.
Since then, I struggle to look at the amount of questionable decisions against us and not. I don't want to point to conspiracy. I spent the longest time going, you're nuts if you think there's a conspiracy. I think that the referees are incompetent rather than biased. And I think there's a difference between saying that they have an inherent bias than saying there is an actual conspiracy against us. I'd lean towards the bias rather than conspiracy.
Why do they have to be one or the other?
Well, yeah, they can be
We're
dumb.
incompetent and we hate you.
Yeah, they're dumb and crooked, but I allegedly.
I may have got that wrong, but we also think you're Don't point out my mistakes.
Yeah.
That'll make me make more. That's part of the problem. If you point out to a stupid person that they've done something wrong, they don't go, oh, well, thank you. They go, don't bloody say it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my job.
I think this is the answer. I think most other Premier League fans, I'd go into the 90s of percentages of saying they would say Arsenal are the conspiracy club. Do you think there is a thing of, sit them down, honestly, give them a glass of wine and a weed edible. If you said to any of those referees, honest opinions on Arsenal, would they go, I can't?
I don't think I've ever seen a referee drunk and somehow inebriated.
And in fairness, when they are, it is very much this one.
So, but I still remember that the initial response to that was, this could be AI.
Yeah.
So, tell me who's the real conspiracy theorists. I'm still going to say I think most people think it's that. But actually, I think if most teams reflect, they will realise on a week-to-week basis when you're angry at the game, you're all a conspiracy theorist because the world's against you.
I would say 90% of fans from other clubs would say
Correct.
Arsenal fans have a conspiracy theory.
Okay. We asked the rest of the league which team are the bigger conspiracy theorists. 59% said Arsenal.
There you go.
I'm surprised that 40% said Liverpool.
We asked the rest of the league which team has the better squad.
Better squad. I think where we're strong, we have young players where you have players in their peak. Yeah. Our best players are right winger, your best players are right winger, but yours is 33 and he's having a Ballon d'Or season. Ours has got half a hamstring hanging off his leg like Paul Pork. So we're in a different
stage.
Fix that. Yeah, we're trying.
Fix that.
We are trying whilst we run the rest of them into the ground. Yeah. I think squad-wise, Liverpool have got the stronger squad. So I look at your forward line, I mean there's 7 of them to begin with.
Fair.
And we've got Raheem Sterling, Trossard on a year 12 at the moment. I think we have more quality in midfield than you. I think you've got more quality in your forward line.
Sure. I don't disagree. So here's my take on this, right? I actually think that most people will have gone Arsenal because they'll just think of they'll think of like the headline players and they won't think they'll say the same as you said, starting 11 good, wider squad better. And then the reality is actually probably more like that. And then both teams feel like Liverpool fans feel like that and Arsenal fans feel like that. And that's how delusional everyone in the Premier League is.
I don't want to disagree with that. I think the narrative around Arsenal is thin. I think the narrative around Arsenal is we have a thin squad. I think Arteta has been telling journalists for months that we're thin. We don't have enough. And I do think that what most people feel about Arsenal is other teams have put up with injuries for years. This is Arsenal's first season with injuries and they're not coping because they are thin. And I think our reliance on younger players like Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly is something you haven't seen from Liverpool.
Well, if they were surveyed this season, then they're going to do that mainly because of the argument that you've made. But I think if you'd have asked them before the season, I think most people would have gone the other way.
I'd say 80% say Liverpool.
I agree now, but I think pre-season they would have said Arsenal.
Should we do Liverpool?
Yeah.
We asked the rest of the league which team has the better squad.
Yeah.
80% said Liverpool.
Yeah!
So what's that? That's like 160 people.
Quick maths, by the way.
It's a lot of people.
I'm not beating him on numbers today. But vibes so far, I'm going strong.
You've got a load of deluded fans.
Yeah, so have you.
And everybody
We've
knows
all-
it.
we've all got deluded
And you're talking about the recency bias and the social media era.
Delusion.
You've got a lot of delusion.
Do you know
on
what's?
timeline.
Do you know what's funny? I
lot.
think it actually is going to be Arsenal. I'll tell you why. Because I think your point earlier you made about a lot of United fans have started to be like, yeah, we're bad.